Hello, everyone. Blessings on this sunny, beautiful, sunny day here in Newcastle. I'm Holly Meyer from Lightning Sounds, and I'm sharing a practice and some insights around holding space and space holder consciousness. So it's really exciting for me to share because it's been bringing me a lot of personal fulfillment and support recently. So, holding space is a concept that different people have different connections to, which is perfect. Some people have told me over the years they don't know what the hell it means when people talk about holding space. For some of us, it's a kind of daily, intentional practice that we offer. It's really worth inquiring individually as to what holding space means. Josh and I at Lightning Sounds have been on a journey with that ourselves, and it's evolving and ongoing because intentional space holding is something that we offer as an important energetic gift as part of our work. I would say holding space is the heart-based offering out of the intention of a safe and nurturing container for some kind of movement, some kind of transformation, some kind of process to go on within that space. So it's part drawing on a witness consciousness, divine masculine aspect of presence, and it's part drawing on a divine feminine concept or aspect of loving, heart loving energy, unconditionally loving and supportive belief in the possibility for transformation in whatever's going on in that space. So we can access this energy in ourselves as something in the space around us available in any moment. And this is something a lot of people, I feel, myself included in the past, have missed in space holding, whether it's kind of incidental space holding, I would call it. So often what comes up when we're we get a call from a friend or a sister, a sibling, and they've got a lot to vent, and suddenly we find ourselves kind of holding space without directly choosing to go into that. Maybe in parenting is something that incidental space holding occurs a lot through the day or the night, and in relationships, in our friendships, in our families. Intentional space holding, I would call, where there's a specific choice and intention around creating a certain kind of space and the kind of offering into that space. In both those kinds of space holding, often something that's missed is the connection to a space holding consciousness. Now, how to access a space holder consciousness. This is something that we need and can get so much from, whether we're intentionally space holding or even incidentally space holding or not. At times when we might feel like, oh, I really just could do with a friend, or I could just do with some support, or this I'm trying to sit with this. Often in spiritual practices, we're sort of told to sit with what arises, which is great. It's great advice and great practice, and it can sometimes be hard to know what that means when something is really strong, and it's hard to know what sitting with it means, especially I find in intense physical sensation. Perhaps that's just my journey. I'm sure like intense emotional experiences too can often be found really, really difficult to sit with. So in times when we hear ourselves feeling sort of hear those words in our consciousness like, too much for me to sit with, I need some kind of support, that is space holder consciousness desiring us. So those are great moments to call on it, and it's really great to practice it in moments that aren't that intense. So just walking down the street, or just in something very simple like sitting or lying in bed, when we're not experiencing something very, very strong movement wise. And the access into this practice that I'm going to offer, there are many ways in. is to open to the idea of there being a space holding consciousness displaying with that idea, that there's a universal energy that, of course, is also inherent in us, in our bodies and in our energies, that is holding space. The space is being held lovingly in every moment by this energy. So opening to that possibility and see what comes in the body. Another way is to connect to what a practice we've shared as lightning sounds before, linked to the archetypal tantric wisdom goddess Bhuvaneshwari, who is the goddess of space. So this physical space around us can be a great teacher in lots of different ways, to be contained in our own bodies and to bring a perspective of infinity. Because what better teacher of infinity than space, whatever our spiritual beliefs or tendencies are. So becoming aware of this physical space that our body is in, the dimensions of which can be played with. And then invoking a space holder consciousness, a supportive, loving friend consciousness, a space that is intentionally held and love offered into, that everything within it, everything within which is art, is life expressing itself. That is, from the eye of the space holder consciousness, everything is art. Everything is a work of art. Every movement within that space, whether it's a physical movement or an energetic movement, an emotion moving, a choice or decision, all movements are works of art, and there are infinite ways to express in making art. So I really invite you to invite that kind of consciousness as a support to you wherever you are and whatever you're doing. And then to know that a movement within that lovingly held space, from the aspect of our consciousness that is always holding loving space, possible movement in that is offering intentional held space to another or others. So then we can play with our unique energy of space holding, and to choose to more intentionally hold space, even if we find ourselves in situations that we didn't ask for, we didn't expect, to connect to the individual intention of that space holding situation in this form, and to offer love from a place of being in touch ourselves with that space holder consciousness, so that everything we experience in that is completely held. Nothing is outside of that. Nothing, anything the other is experiencing is outside of that. It is all perfect, exquisite art. May this sharing be received perfectly where it wants to be received, and may your day be full of beauty. I love you. Blessings.